Next category is school. What was your favorite and worst subject at school? I loved band and art and my photo classes that I took, and I liked history. I really didn't like math and science. Those are just like my worst subjects. I mean, I find stuff like that interesting, but in high school I was just so lethargic. I fell asleep in every single class. Every single math and science class that I had at 10th grade, I fell asleep. I didn't really like English class either, because I really hated being told what books to read and then I had to write about them and talk about them when I didn't want to. What superlative would you have been most likely to win in high school? Most likely to fall asleep in class. Are you in college, and if you are, what is your major? And another question that went along with that, what do you major in? I just graduated last May from college. I have a bachelor's degree in photography and video and film arts from, not to brag, but one of the top 3 art schools in the country, which honestly doesn't mean much to most people. So next category is traveling. Where have you traveled to? And another question that goes along with that, how many countries have you visited so far, and which ones would you like to visit? It's extremely sad, but I've never actually been off of the east coast of the United States, except for once. At the beginning of this year, I went to Texas to do photography for my friend's wedding, and that's the only time I've ever been off the east coast. Every other time that I've gone anywhere has been somewhere on the east coast of the United States, and I hate it. I've never been to any other country, even though I really want to visit as many countries as I possibly can in my life. I really want to see as much as I can of the world. If you could travel anywhere, where would you go? And another question that goes along with that, if you could travel anywhere right now for free, what would you go? And another question that goes along with that, is there any place in the world that you really want to visit? If so, why? I visit so many countries all around the world, not just the major cities, but I really like to explore and see the smaller parts of the country and like the nature in the country and stuff like that. I'd also like to see more of my own country at some point. Which places in Europe would you most like to visit? I wrote down all of the countries that sound most appealing to me to visit in Europe. England, Italy, Austria, Scotland, Ireland, France, Germany, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Sweden, everywhere that I can. What is your dream country to travel to or to live in? If I had to choose a different country to live in, then it would be Austria, because it's, from what I've seen in pictures, it seems like one of the most beautiful, and it seems like it'd just be really nice to live there. It's like one of the happiest places to live on earth, apparently, and I just think it sounds really nice. So I might be wrong about that. I honestly have no idea. I just go off of what I see on the internet. If I actually went there and decided that I didn't like it, I don't know, but from what I've seen, I think Austria would be where I would most want to live. What is the one place in the world you find most beautiful? I'm going to choose a place that I've actually been to. That has been my favorite place for as long as I can remember. It's going to be my favorite place as far as I can tell for a very long time, probably for the rest of my life. It just means a lot to me, and that's Disney World. A lot of really cynical people can only see like the commercial side of Disney World, but it's just one of the most beautiful ideas I've ever heard of and ever seen, in my opinion. When I go, I just feel more things than I could possibly describe to you. Just thinking about it and looking at pictures of Disney World just makes me feel emotional, and I love it. It's just gorgeous. The whole of it is amazing. It's such an amazing blend of magic, an appreciation of fantasy, and of the real world as it is. It's a celebration of the beauty of nature and all of mankind, as well as like the endless depths of our imagination. It's a tribute to the innovation and the nostalgia of the past and the vast wonder of the future. From prehistoric times to the beginning of man, to the Renaissance, to the Industrial Revolution, and the golden age of Hollywood, to now, and to the future, for which it has only the wildest imaginings. It's a place of just happiness and an appreciation for all that ever has and ever will exist, of innovation, of wonder, of nostalgia, and love, of science and of nature, an appreciation for all of humankind as a species, and for everything else that we will always share a planet with, for the earth as a whole, for our imaginations, for magic, for things we can never understand and never have to. Just the fact that we can imagine them is fulfilling. A place of beauty and fun and excitement and celebration of being a kid and not having to be a kid to enjoy the many things it has to offer if you let it. I love it. It's just beautiful, in my opinion. It's perfect, and I love every single thing about it. And I know it's like expensive, but it's the biggest theme park in the world, and that's just kind of how things work. I don't really care what anyone has to say about Disney World negatively. I am extremely passionate about it, and I'd spend an endless amount of time defending it against anyone if I had to. I'd never want to work there or live there, because it just wouldn't be quite as special to me, I think, if I was there all of the time. But if I was in a position where I could go like once every year or every other year, then I'd be really happy. If you could time travel to the past, what time period would you go to and what place? I'd really want to see the first movies, so like the late 1800s to early 1900s. I really want to see like the development of the first movies and maybe even like try to be a part of it. That would be really fun, I think, and just really awesome and really fulfilling. I also kind of want to visit Italy during the Renaissance. If you have the chance to move anywhere, where would you choose to live? New York City. I am kind of a person that likes to keep to themselves, so it's kind of weird that I want to surround myself with so many people, but I just really love the idea of New York City. I think the fact that we can create something that's amazing as humans, something that's massive, the fact that we can build something like New York is just amazing to me and really beautiful to me. I mean, I really love nature a lot and everything, and I appreciate that as well, but I really love things that celebrate humans and the amazing things that humans can do. I know there's a lot of bad things that go on in New York City as well, but I mean, bad things happen all over the world. I genuinely think there's more good in New York City than bad. I mean, maybe if I actually went to live in New York City, I wouldn't like it as much as my idea of living in New York City. I'm perfectly willing to admit that the idea of living in New York City might appeal more to me than actually living there. I don't know. I'm gonna try to one day though, I think. If you could be anywhere in the world, where would you be? Right this second, I would like to be in Disney World. It's really, really cold here. It just snowed a whole bunch, and I'd really like to be in Disney World right now. The next category is ambitions. What would your dream job be? And a question that goes along with this, what are your professional goals? Do you want to work with photography in the future or plan on doing something else? Right now, doing photography is an ideal because I just got a degree in it, but in my perfect world, I wouldn't have to necessarily have a full-time job doing this one thing. I'd really love to write, and I have a ton of book ideas that I would really love to spend time working on. I'd love to be a filmmaker and a film editor and a screenwriter. I'd love to just be able to do my own photo work, like personal photo work, like on the side whenever I have the chance or have an idea. I really want to write a musical at some point in my life, and I have some ideas for that. I really don't necessarily want to be any sort of famous. I just really want to do things that allow me to express myself in whatever way that I can, and I'd love to be in a position where I have enough success to where I can live comfortably with food and, you know, furniture and books, and be able to do the things that I want to do, so I can help devote any extra time and money that I have to helping others, helping charities, being a part of causes and stuff like that. Something that I've actually just kind of pushed off the ground a little bit is something I've been thinking about for a really long time, wanting to do, and I think I'm going to try to start doing it now, is I really want to be a volunteer firefighter. I just signed up, like my local fire department has a sign up thing online, and they're supposed to send you like an email at some point telling you about a meeting to come to where you like sign up officially, and then I guess you have to go through training, and this would be something that I would hopefully do on weekends and like whenever I have free time. I'm not 100% sure on how it works, but it is something that I really want to do. It's something that's, as I see it right now, I mean, after I actually do it, I don't know if it will change or not, but as I see it right now, it's something that I would really like to do for the rest of my life. If I feel like it's something, like I said, after I do it, that I want to continue doing. Hopefully it works out. Right now, I'm not completely sure how the process works. I don't know if I'm too busy now that I just got like this kind of full-time-ish job. I mean, it's not official that I have the job yet, it's more like freelance now, but hopefully I'll have enough time to do it and to get through the process of it, because I just really want to do it, and I'm hoping it works out. I'll update you guys on that at some point, I'm sure. So being in a position where I could write, make movies, take pictures, make music, and like help people would be the most ideal career situation for me. It would be my ultimate career goal, to be able to have all of those things at once. What was the strangest question you have been asked in an interview? If you haven't been asked anything odd, I guess I'd like to know what your weirdest job has been. When I was in high school and when I was in college, I did the seasonal job twice, once when I was in high school and once when I was in college at Sears Portrait Studio. One of the questions that the manager asked me in my interview was to show how I would get a kid to smile for a picture, and I had to make these animal noises she wanted me to make. Like, she made me make a bunch of animal noises and do stupid stuff that was kind of embarrassing and really put me out of my comfort zone. I didn't really like doing it. I'm not outgoing enough to do stuff like that comfortably in front of random people. The strangest job I ever had was when I was like 13 or 14. I like went around with my dad's friend in this truck. He was like a guy that went around selling stuff for this company called Snap-on. They sell like tools and stuff to mechanics and car places. and I went around with him and was kind of like his assistant. It was really weird. I didn't really do much of anything, and I don't remember if I got paid much at all, but I know it was just something I did during the summer that my dad wanted me to do, and it was interesting. The guy was really nice. I only did it for a little while. So what photograph that you've taken are you most proud of? Well, the personal photography I do is always usually really narrative. Like with writing and reading and stuff, I'm a very story-driven person, and I like to create characters. A lot of the personal photography I do kind of aims to do that. It kind of explores narratives in whatever ways I can use photography to do that. I really enjoy building a photograph, like putting a set together, like making everything perfect the exact way I want it to be, like making it really my like art, like putting everything the way exactly the way I want it to be. Kind of like putting together a scene for a movie or something. Sets and lighting and models, actors, or whatever. I did a series in my senior year of college. It was my senior thesis that was like kind of exploring violence, and doing that I kind of used violence in a very Tom and Jerry like cartoonish way to kind of explore some ideas in violence, but that wasn't like the main like purpose behind it. I had to give it some sort of concept, and that was like the main concept that drove the storyline, but it was mostly just for me technically to practice what I liked to do, mainly for me to experiment with making everything really detailed the way I want it to be, building sets with props and lighting and with people like helping me and stuff. The series is called The Lost Boys, and it's basically about these 5 boys who are like troublemakers and do these violent things, and they wear masks to represent their personalities. I had to organize like 7 different photo shoots around like 10 people's schedules over like 4 or 5 months or so. I funded it, I bought all the props, spent a crap load of time prepping everything and planning everything. Overall, it turned out alright. It was a good experience. There are a lot of things I would definitely do differently now with it, both in the story and in the photographs. But like I said, it was a great experience. Another series is one that I felt was kind of like one of my best ideas. I'll just read you like the statement I wrote for it. And I'll show you some of the pictures so you can kind of get the idea of it. This project is an experiment with voyeurism. I have run surveillance over my life, and as a result, people within my life. Each of these photographs is from a moment in my life, a still from my life. Over the course of half of a year, I've taken videos of myself in various situations with my cell phone. Every time, whether by myself or around large groups of people, the cell phone is always hidden wherever I can conveniently place it, and left there for however long I feel like it, on record. I never put it in the same spot twice. I have set up surveillance while at my apartment, at work, at my parents' house, with my friends, with my family, by myself, reading, in the car, on the toilet, etc. I include as many situations that can, from the completely mundane to the oddly interesting and exciting. Every moment is a contributing factor to the overall narrative reality that is my life. No one that appears within these stills is aware of the surveillance. Those that are aware that I'm doing it are never fully aware of exactly when I'm doing it. This creates a sort of reverse Truman Show. I am pointing a camera at my life and the people within my life to see what happens without anyone else's knowledge of it. We are all constantly under surveillance, through cameras, through the eyes of other people, other living things, through the window, on the internet, on the phone, at home, at work. We are never quite alone. Through this project, I am taking it upon myself to not only accept but also embrace this fact. I am literally surveilling myself before and or while anyone or anything else can, and presenting it in this form for everyone to see. I am claiming ownership of these moments of my life before any other wandering eye surveilling me is able to do so at that moment. I am presenting this collection of 200 stills in the hopes that it will overwhelm the viewer with feelings of being watched and of watching. I wish to force them to be my voyeur, my stalker. I want them to take notice of these moments of my life where they are both surveilling and being surveilled, moments in which they do not have control over what they see, or who sees them. There's plenty of other personal series that I've done that I really like this series with clowns and an abandoned hospital, and I've also done plenty of editorial and event photography as well. And here's some of my favorites for that. Next category is psychological personality / personal.